Have you set a course for your life? Do you do that every day? Knowing what you want is intention. Knowing how to get there is a study in conscious action. This is a show about living consciously. It is about our choices, our hopes, our dreams, our work, our loves, our vision, and the practice of healing and becoming. Welcome to Cruising in the Light and Shadow. I am Sheila Marie, also known as Keisha.
And I am Inanna Moon. Hello.
Hello, and this is our first video podcast. And
Exciting.
It is. And we have a guest here, Noel Orput, who happens
Welcome,
to
Noel.
be...
Thank you.
He happens to be one of my partners in Laughing House Productions. And the reason we have Noel here is because we have been talking, Inanna and I have been talking about having a show on dating.
And also, this is the episode just before Valentine's Day, so how appropriate.
Yes. And please excuse me, I still have the cold, so I have a cough drop in my mouth. But
Now everyone can see.
yes. But we were talking about, that is definitely one of the topics we want to talk about is dating.
Definitely.
And I thought, for science, I'm going to go on online dating. And I was talking to Noel and my other partners about it, and they convinced me, go for it, do it. And then I talked to Inanna, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it for science. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I said, but Noel, Noel's done the online dating thing. And Inanna said, well, why don't you invite him to the show?
Right. This is lucky because I'm an old married lady. So it's not that I wouldn't do online dating, but I have some opposition at home to,
Yeah, he probably
to my
wouldn't like it.
doing. No, he wouldn't be thrilled by that. So thank you for being on the show to talk about
Thank you for having me.
about our time,
Happy
the
I could help.
modern times too. Dating in this age
Yeah,
as well.
I bear the scars of online dating. No, it's not that bad, but I do have experience in it. Yes.
How long,
Go ahead.
how long have you been online dating?
Oh man, this feels like a support group. I guess. I mean, I sort of am on again, off again. So I guess I would say for maybe 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you try? It's not. I don't think you have to name the services, but
No.
did you
Sure.
try?
There are
did
many.
you try different services, or have
Yes.
you stayed with one?
Yes, I did. I don't know if I should mention which ones I've tried, but I've tried a handful.
Unless they want to be our sponsor.
Of
no.
ones, right? But yeah, I've tried. I would say probably 5 or 6 different
6.
ones, and
Oh,
there are
very
many,
good.
many,
All right.
many. So there are like probably hundreds that are out there. So that's not a ton.
Okay, right.
Oh yes. So yeah, I guess I've tried some of the bigger ones that most people would be familiar with.
Then at least I'm going to ask: do you have tips for people if they're thinking about trying online dating?
The tips. Well, again, it depends which site you're on. Some have a more kind of comprehensive, breakdown of who you are and what you're looking for. Others are more just kind of photo-based. Sites like
Photo-based.
Tinder, which everyone, of course, is familiar with. So those tend to be, just more kind of based on looks and not so much on intention, as you speak of, and what are you looking for, right, in a relationship.
Right.
So I think for me, it's being clear first before you start online dating. It's being clear on what you are looking for, because you can find,
Makes
whatever you're
sense.
looking for, you can find on a respective site that's geared towards that. So if you're just looking for casual dating, you can find a site for that. If you are looking for, a long-term committed relationship leading to marriage,
There are going to be
there are sites
more
for that. Yes,
conducive
that
to that. Oh.
they're taking blood samples and fingerprints.
Oh,
and, I
my.
mean, it's a very thorough. There are some that the
They mean business.
the
I
online
know.
survey is takes 2 or 3 hours to complete. But then again, the people that you're being matched up with are you're potentially going to be quite compatible.
And
with,
was it
so.
free?
A lot are free now. That's
Really?
kind of the only ones that I use are free. I have tried the ones that you pay for, and I feel like I've gotten pretty much the same results from paid sites versus free sites. So, yeah,
Good
but you
to know.
can, the more thorough ones you do pay for, like eHarmony, Match. You pay for that. They do have a free version of Match as well. So.
I see.
Yeah, so again, that's kind of what can you afford, right? What's in your
today's
budget?
day and age, yeah.
Yeah, but I gravitate more towards the free ones.
All
Yeah.
right.
And you've had some success.
I have. I've had some really great success, and I've had some, comedically tragic experiences as well. But again, so I obviously focus on the wonderful people that I have met.
We might need an anecdote or two without
Well-
names, of
Well,
course,
Well-
but maybe you can't.
Noel is a writer, director, producer, and actor. So I'm sure those experiences you use.
yes, I mean, I guess they have inspired certain scripts that I've written, scenarios that I've written for sure. I obviously change the names to protect those people, but no, they're inspirations for my work for sure. I tend to gravitate towards stories that are about people, connecting with other people, and so that tends to be how people are meeting and connecting these days. So yeah, it definitely is a part of my work.
But you had asked Inanna, you wanted if there's any stories. that you
Yes,
had?
that's what I was asking.
That maybe are
the
not in
question
scripts.
stands, but maybe something something you can tell about. We will get to the successes, but perhaps in the way it doesn't work, or
Right.
maybe even what kinds of people both of you, what you
I
would
haven't
think.
gone
No, not just online dating. Maybe there are people that should not try online dating.
I mean, I think again for me, it's you never know. You can read someone's profile and it can be the most thorough, character breakdown that you've read, but you really never know until you meet somebody in person. So
Right.
I think for me, kind of the funny stories that I have just been, I mean, you create an image of what you see in a picture of someone.
Yes.
So you enter with an idea, preconceived idea of who that person might be, and that can tend to be very different from who they actually are. So until you meet in person, you don't know how compatible you are and what your chemistry
Because I'm
level will be.
thinking-
But
I'm thinking you would really need to know yourself, or you hope you know yourself when you're describing yourself.
yes, that can be difficult. That's challenging as well, especially on the ones that are kind of limited. It's just like write a
Yes.
description of yourself, rather than questions that you're
Than
answering.
specifics.
Smoker or non-smoker. When you just have to say who you are, that's a difficult thing. So I guess in that sense, it helps being a writer because you can kind of figure out or try to figure out what people get interested by or excited about. Yeah.
And something that Inanna and I were talking about with the dating, texting.
Oh yes.
So
Yes.
now it's all about texting, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So how do you, because you can say whatever you want in texting, but is there the chemistry in the text? Do you pick up the phone and actually talk to the person and then go meet them? Or is it just off text?
Totally varies based on the person. I've actually had all those experiences. My feature film that I wrote was sort of inspired by I had connected with someone on a site, and we had been passing emails back and forth, and
Emails, not texting.
not texting. No, we were
Ooh,
emailing, and then it progressed to texting. It's so silly, Then you share your number with that person, then you're texting, and so we sort of fell into the trap of our schedules not aligning because we did want to meet in person, but it became this back and forth, and some people call it like we were in the secretary zone, where it was just like, what is your schedule? And I'm not free this day, but I can't do this day. Can you? So it was this back and forth of just trying to find a time when we could meet. And so that inspired this movie that I made, which is because I was getting frustrated. I was like, I just want to meet and just figure out, if the chemistry is there. So why can't we be, why don't we have a phone conversation? Why don't we maybe Skype so we can actually, see the other person and just see where it goes from there. So that was kind of the genesis of my film.
Which is called
First Comes Like, yeah. So
First Comes Like. I love the title.
yeah, but I totally. I mean, I'm big on. I mean, it's silly, but I'm big on just the sound of someone's voice, and so even
Yeah.
talking on the
Right.
phone, I think is a nice progression from you can text, but I do like talking on the phone before you meet and yeah. So
And then what do you
again,
do?
it's-
Do you meet for coffee? Do you do dinner?
Oh man, that's again, some people are like, don't,
Going to vary.
and a lot of women will just say on their profile, like, don't ask me to coffee.
Oh, really?
Very, very specific on what they do or do not want to do.
Take me to
Really?
Disney.
Which is always good to know.
Yes, at least they've put it right out there what they,
Yeah.
what they do
I mean,
and
I
don't
think
expect.
again, it's if you have enough time communicating before you meet, I think you can get a sense of, do we want to meet are we going to commit to a dinner, where we're locked into,
An hour.
hour and a half potentially.
And who pays?
Or do we, well, no, that's one of my funny stories actually.
Ooh.
Yes, I was, that's a longer
Go
story.
ahead.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I had that was one of my comedically tragic
Oh, good. These
meetings
are fun.
that does
Sorry.
have a title. It's called, well, because all my friends that I told it to were like, you got to write this into like a one-act play. And the title would be Cold Pressed Juice. But anyways, it's a long story, but it ended with, I was meeting this person for the first time, essentially to see if we wanted to go out on a quote unquote date. Because we had just met it was on Tinder actually, so we had only seen pictures of
So
each
it's a
other.
pre-date
So it was
date?
kind of a preliminary date, I guess you would call it. And so we met at a coffee shop, and I had gotten there before her because I was doing some writing before, so I had already bought my coffee. And then she came and joined me, and she wound up buying her coffee. So the fact that I did not buy her coffee turned into a major issue. And so we kind of like got into it because I didn't buy her coffee.
Like
I was
right there and
I
then?
don't even, we're just meeting for the first time.
She had a checklist already.
She did.
All
That
right,
was her
all right.
deal breaker. But it was a very long 15-minute
15
meeting
minutes.
that,
Wow.
yeah, so I'm kind of glad I saved that $2.
Well, I look forward to the one act play.
Yes, look for cold pressed juice. off Broadway.
What we had been talking about as far as texting and ways of communicating with someone who's a potential partner is that I do intuitive sessions with people and spiritual consultations and advice and so forth. But for the last many years, I've noticed that in those relationships, I've had a lot of clients basically come in. So this is not about any one client, just to let you know. There have been many, and it might be
Including me.
helpful. Yes, including Sheila Marie. I've had many come in and say, well, I've been dating, and I would say the majority of my clients are women, but there are men as well. And both men and women will come in and say, for instance, I've been dating this person for a while, and it could, at first I might not even know how long they've been dating. Then I find out some things, but I've been dating this person for a while, and I ask about how they communicate and relate to one another. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes I will hear, well, we text a lot of the time. And I'm like, so you mean in between dates you text? It's like, well, lately it's become all texting. And I think what I'm doing also is asking a man's point of view, so which you're welcome to share. But what I've noticed is after all of these years, most of the relationships where it's the majority of the relationship is in texting, or at least the majority of communication, and when it gets to a point of difficulties, either for my client sitting there or on the other side, all they've done is text one another. They never arrange a meeting. It's almost like trying to pick up Mercury to get a meeting to happen. And it usually leaves, Sheila Marie and I have talked about, women are, we jump ahead. We can see ourselves there in that relationship. We can see ourselves sharing a home, a dog, a life. And what I'm seeing is that whether it's a man or a woman, one in the relationship may be ready to go forward. The other person really just wants to continue dating and keeping it light and easy,
Casual.
but very casual. Thank you. And I'm going to put it this way: many men will not say that. They won't say, or maybe they are, and the woman isn't hearing it. That could well be it too. But it seems to me that if your relationship is predominantly texting, you're not building that relationship very easily. There's no, it's the level of intimacy that is not there because of the distance of texting.
Yeah, I would agree. I am. I guess I mean I think it's definitely generational in terms of modes of communication and what we prefer. I mean I'm definitely more calling over texting, especially once I am dating someone, in a relationship with someone. But even with friends, I really only text if it's a quick. I don't like getting into conversations.
Long,
I
drawn-out
noticed that in our
through
group
texting.
conversations.
I mean, I don't have the patience just to be typing, and I get frustrated because I'm hitting the wrong, things are misspelled. And so for me, I would much rather pick up the phone, because I've had many experiences where, I think texting, because you don't hear a tone of voice and you don't hear inflection and all it,
Exactly.
you put your own subtext, to a text. So things can be misinterpreted, and
Sarcasm does not sometimes read.
No, absolutely. So I would I'm much quicker to pick up the phone and talk and hear somebody's voice.
And Noel's phone number, ladies. No, I'm sorry. Teasing.
Unknown.
Unknown, yes. Right. No, but yes. And so one of the reasons people would come to me then is I'll be handed a phone, and women love to talk and communicate and women are very expressive. So I'll see
The
the scrolling down of long paragraphs, and then 2-word answer, and then another long paragraph. And I'm being asked, what does that mean? What do you think that means? What does he want? What doesn't he want? What should I do?
He said, "Hi, what does that
What does
mean?"
that mean?
I find women love the all caps too. There's a lot of all caps where
Yes,
where
I can
the voice
I
is
can see
being
that.
raised.
I can see that. Yeah, right.
Oh, you got all
Like,
caps.
why are you yelling at me through the text?
Please know this is not bashing. This is
No.
from experience.
No,
of reading.
but that was an issue in a relationship that I had, because I am someone as well. When I'm working, I don't have my phone. I keep my phone on.
right.
So I'll turn my phone off for periods of time, or I'll have it on silent, because if I get too distracted by things, that isn't good for me. So I will take periods of time where I'm away from my phone. And I think people are so used to this instant gratification and response, where you send a text and if it's more than 5 minutes, we start going into our brains of like, why haven't they responded?
Oh, that's
Talk.
true.
What's
Head
going
talk.
on? Where are they? What are, all those things that we create.
Is he thinking too much about the
Is he
answer?
really-
And so that was an issue, where
Right.
she's like, I have my phone on me. I don't know why you don't. And I just was like, I don't know why this is, it created a much bigger issue than it actually was. But that's very
That's the
difficult
problem.
today.
That's true of men and women. It
Wow.
I've noticed the phone can become a form of a leash almost.
It is. And
Yeah.
I've gone on, I guess, dates or whatever. When I had my ex-boyfriend, it's like, he was younger. All of his friends had the phone there, and they were all just like looking, and it's like, well, why are we all gathered here if we're not like even talking to each other? And then we'd be Facebooking each other as we were sitting there.
While
I'm
you're
like,
sitting
really?
there
Right.
in person.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Yeah,
I just, it's like, hi, I'm here. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for me.
Well, this is old-fashioned me, but it was something you and I talked about. Also, was something from my mother and from my grandmother's. Was watch out for having too many people involved in your relationship. That's also something I've seen with people who've come in and said, "Well, I talked to 15 girlfriends and I talked to 6 other guys and so
On
forth."
Facebook?
But and on Facebook, because then they start commenting too, and so the person you're hoping to have the relationship with is now involved in this big community on a one-on-one relationship. So you look like you you have some experience in
Yes.
dealing with that.
Yes, that's just another, dark side of the internet and
Of
social
social
media.
media.
And,
Well, do you stay friends with
you-
them on Facebook after your break? Because I've stayed friends with some of your
I mean,
ex-girlfriends.
I kind of despise that that's even a part of what we have to think about, because it's like, yes, you end a relationship which, causes enough pain as it is, but then you have to be worried about, well, are we going to still be friends on Facebook? And
It's a
do I
big
hide
one.
them from my wall? But, just all of that. And it's hard, I think, again, it just depends on the person, and some people can, still remain friends with exes and
That's me.
see their life,
Yeah.
on their wall and pictures, and others just kind of need to close that door.
Right.
So I guess it just depends on
The-
the relationship and the circumstances and all of that. But
And that's a big one when I don't know why it's a big one when you unfriend somebody from Facebook. It's like,
I didn't
it's
even
very
know
final.
you could know when someone unfriended. This is how much I'm on
Right.
Facebook, I guess. But
well, and I actually had a date where the woman friended me before we met for our date.
Oh, she was stalking you.
So I didn't, and for me, I was like, well, I haven't
Yeah.
met this person yet, so I don't know if I want to friend them and have them, because you can read anything
Observing
into,
you, yes.
you start looking through someone's photo library and you can, read anything you
That's
want
so
into
true,
things that
yeah.
you see. So I feel like you have to, develop some form of a relationship before you open that portal. And that was a big thing for her. She was very offended that I didn't friend her before we had actually met. So I found myself kind of defending I was like, well, I just, and had to explain. And then it became, well, what are you hiding? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, we were suddenly, on, the 8th date, and it was just our first, I was like, I'm not hiding anything from you. I don't even know who you are. We're just meeting.
if we are to continue, how am I supposed to?
Yeah, so.
That brings me then to something else, which I've had to talk. It's been my privilege actually to talk with people about preparing to date. And are you prepared to
Yes.
date? And have you done any work to heal from the last relationship or relationships you've been in? And you don't have to be, I certainly don't believe you have to be perfectly healed to be in a relationship. No, that happens often while you're dating or married or whatever the situation is. But what are, I would like to talk about some of the topics as far as just getting yourself in a place where you feel like you're ready. Certainly if you feel a yearning to meet someone new and have someone in your life, that would be a signal. But are you in a place where it's that you don't want to be alone with yourself, or you're fearful for a variety of reasons and you want someone else to fill a space or a gap? If there's no or less fear, you're going to let that person be themselves, is my feeling. And you'll welcome the differences and you'll welcome what's similar. There'll be more of an easygoing quality, but there are plenty of people who are still holding hurts, and there's pain and tension right from the get-go.
I think it's, for me, I've been trying to look at my patterns. Like I've done this has not worked for me. And in my last whatever it was, I started noticing, oh, wait, that's that pattern I do. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm doing it. Okay, not going to do that. I'm going to do it. And then I did actually walk away before falling down deep in the hole. So yeah, I think I'm healing. I'm
Yes.
getting there.
Well, I think you have to be yourself.
Yes.
No matter what that self is, it has to be you. Otherwise, you're only presenting pieces. And again, I can't imagine more tension than sitting and going, oh, I can't let him know that I collect dolls right now.
Yeah.
I collect a lot of
Creepy
dolls.
dolls.
No, no, but it's that you're editing yourself before you even get going.
It's
And
funny you say that because in First Comes Like, she collects dolls.
Are you serious?
And she's
See?
a little worried to let him know that.
See, that's why she's an intuitive.
I
There
know.
we
That
go.
was
It's
really
like I haven't
interesting.
seen the film yet. I'm planning to. But
So
what do you
That's
know?
funny.
That's interesting.
So we
Okay.
should talk about First Comes Like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, so you said it was from experience, some
Yes,
experience.
inspired. Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
should we show a clip?
Oh, sure. Let's show a clip.
Yes.
Fancy.
One look at you, and then I knew I had to love.
Whoa, Bob, we got one.
You caught my eye, and there was I, enraptured by.
Listen, man, all those sites, I just look at all of them like they're a batting cage, right? You got all these balls flying at you, just going by one after another, and some of them fly right past you. Some of them are going to be foul balls, and sometimes you get a base hit.
Think I follow the analogy?
Matt, you can't just stop by like this. We said that we would call.
I knew that if I called, you probably wouldn't answer.
What are you doing?
I really miss you. And I wanted to come over here and tell you that. Because I was scared.
Can you be scared of something scary? Like Ebola, tsunamis, Taylor Swift? Like, I don't know. What you did is you took every one of my fears and you made them real.
Thanks for the flowers.
Well, I didn't know what kind you like, so I got you all of them. I mean, how much can you know about somebody when, you haven't met them?
She get you?
Get me?
Yeah, you're like complicated.
Oh, he's a cutie.
Yeah, isn't he? I'm kind of obsessed.
Talking to your wife.
Oh, no. She's just a friend, I guess.
Oh, you not sure?
No, she is a friend. I think. We just met a couple hours ago.
Where'd you meet?
Online.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Thanks for coming over the hill to meet me. This is very nice.
Yeah, traffic wasn't that bad.
And I love that movie. So
Thank you. Yeah, it's a special film. It was my first feature film that I made, and yeah, it was a great experience. Great cast and great crew, and yeah, we've been getting a great response from it. We ended up doing the self-distribution route, so we put it on Amazon back in August of last year. You never know what audience you're going to find out there, so we were interested just to see, and yeah, we've gotten a really great stable numbers coming in. It's getting a lot of views, and we're getting a lot of people reaching out through Facebook and other social media, just saying how much the film is resonating with them. I mean, it's a very relatable topic, actually, because it's online dating, and I feel like nowadays if someone doesn't have an experience with online dating, it's rare, now. But
Really?
yeah,
Finding it rare.
I
Oh.
think so. I mean, I feel like most people that I've encountered have, either met their significant other through an online dating site or, have been out there dating.
There was a statistic, right?
Yeah, they said now I think it's 2/3 of the people getting married in America have met online. So
Oh my.
it's very, very high. Yeah. Those
That
are
must mean it's working, though. Then that's nice to know.
Yeah, I mean, both my brother and sister met their partners online. Yeah.
I have a few cousins and friends, yeah. And this is before the big, app,
Yeah.
online dating app. This was a while before.
Yeah.
And your movie, First Comes Like, reminds me of a modern day You've Got Mail.
Oh yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like it's a date movie. It's one of those comfort movies. First Comes Like, yeah. But it's like, let's just pop it in and just
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I mean, I was inspired too
Feel
by
good movie then
Yeah, it's
too.
a feel good
as
movie.
well.
Yeah.
Yes,
As
it
well
is.
as informative in many ways.
It's a rom-com.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I also love Richard Linklater did the Before Sunset and Sunrise. and
Yes.
that series I really love, and so it was kind of inspired by that too. I love just two people getting to know each other and sharing their similarities, differences, and falling in love. So yeah, this was kind of the modern version of that. So, and then that's the film is basically the two people are never actually meet. So all of their communications are through devices. So they're texting and they're Skyping and they're talking on the phone. And so yeah, I just wanted to kind of make a little comment on how we are relating these days.
And I helped a little, tiny bit help with the
Oh
filming.
yeah, yeah.
But you filmed that in how many days?
We shot that fast in 5 days. Yeah, which is very, very fast for a feature. But yeah, we kept it very simple. It was, two main locations and small crew. And yeah, so when you're not moving tons of lights and gear around, that helps for sure. But yeah, we got it done in 5 days. So yeah.
And Daniel Guzman
So,
was
race.
your...
Yes, Daniel Guzman.
My other partner.
Michael Lopez, is our production company. And yeah, so it's been great just to see the response that it's been getting. And I think, as an artist, I always feel like, I think it was Elizabeth Gilbert said, like, artists always wonder, like, is there room for my voice in the world as an artist? And I think that was something, that I was hopeful for with this film. Is there a place for this story out there? And it's been really great to see the response it's been getting. So,
It is.
My
Yeah.
goodness. Are you I'm still thinking about how many people are finding relationships online. Do you want to talk about trust or the level of trust to be able to connect with someone? I mean, because it puts you in a vulnerable position. Even if you met through friends, you're going to be in that vulnerable position. But online,
I think online it's tricky. I think it's again I don't want to. I mean, it is kind of a numbers game. I think because I think with a lot of people that I think are on these sites, it's not so much that their intention is to find a relationship. A lot of it tends to be ego gratification, where you see someone's page and their the description of who they are says like their Instagram link, right? So a lot of people are on dating
Really?
sites purely to get followers,
Oh,
right?
I did not
on
know that.
other forms of media. So
God, I'm really bad at this.
you're like, well, you're not really here
You're just-
to. So I think it's
That's
sort of
fascinating,
sorting
actually.
through and, again, putting your intention out there and being honest and vulnerable in what you're looking for. And
are they saying that up front? I'm really just looking for friends
no, but
online.
I mean, I
or-
shouldn't. I mean, I think I just assume that when I just see, find me on Instagram, I'm kind of like, well, okay. You're guiding me
yeah.
there rather than, hey, this
To
is what I'm
you.
looking for.
Yes, yeah.
So I think that's just a part of it.
Oh, I see.
And I think some people, it's also just a fun thing to do, where it's like, let's see how many people like me. There's,
Oh, wow.
I think there's a lot of just validation that people can find online. And so, you just kind of have to, again, sort through them all and hope that you find somebody looking for what you're looking for and then meet.
No coffee.
And have you, it doesn't have to be just you, maybe you've known others too, you've met someone, you have to, my assumption would be you'd want to start out casual, but if you met the person who's like, look, I don't have time, I have to get married.
Yes, I think I think a lot of women make that pretty clear in their profile, or even in their pictures
good,
if they have
good.
children. There usually will be a picture of them with their child. I know people that have met people that didn't have that in their photos, and then that was something that kind of came out after they met. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I
Yeah.
think
True, too. No, it
know,
isn't. Yeah.
so. Yeah, again, I think it varies from person to person, but yeah.
That's a tough one. I don't know if I'd want to put the picture of my daughter up on a dating site. I mean, that's just kind of creepy, I kind of think.
I would
think it tends
after
to be
you-
younger.
Oh,
I
okay.
tend to see younger
really
children
young children. Okay.
because that's sort of a fair,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'd mention
good
it.
to know.
Mention
But
it,
then
and
look at your picture.
then when you meet,
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
you would show,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think it's it's also that delicate thing of when you ask somebody to meet, because for me, I'm like, I would rather spend less time texting and like, let's just, we see that we like each other, so let's, find a time where we can meet in person
actually meet,
and
right.
figure it out. Because to me, I'm like, well, that saves a lot of time. I don't want to spend days, weeks just texting and, so that, can be some women don't want that, right out of the gate. They want to take that time to kind of do the background check on you and make
Oh,
sure.
wow.
I mean, that's a big difference,
Yeah.
obviously, for women and men.
Do you Google people?
Yes,
Wow.
definitely.
See, I never Google people. And I'm always asked, well, did you Google them? I didn't even think about that. So
Yeah, I know. I do that. Yeah.
I guess it's
But
like
again, it's, yeah.
well, I mean,
I'm
it's out
guilty of
there,
that.
right?
It is.
You
It
get
can
to know.
be. Yeah.
I'm curious.
This
'cause
might be necessary in some cases.
a friend of mine, he's trying the dating sites, and he says it's really hard to come up with something original. To like, because I guess I'm not on there, but women are like, don't just say hi, give me something. So it's like,
Oh, when you communicate?
yeah,
So they stand out,
yeah,
you mean?
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, so I don't know. Can you share? Do you want to share? Like, what's your go? Do you have a go-to or?
Well, I guess it's finding something either in the pictures or in their profile that I have something in common with. So I usually will
Like-
start with something witty connected to something that they like or do, or so that we can find like a fun commonality between us. Yeah, I never. It's always more than just hi. I never am like,
Oh, good.
hey. Yeah, or the hey with like, I guess 2 Y's now.
Oh, really?
Means
Oh,
is that a
something
thing?
very
different.
good.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, it sounds creepy.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
But so no, it's always a little bit more. There's thought that goes into it for
So
sure. But
I'm sure one of the common things is yoga, because you're into yoga big
yes.
time, and she's a yoga master.
Oh, no, I'm not a yoga master.
I'm sorry.
Yoga teacher,
Teacher.
yes.
Okay.
but
You're probably a
but
master.
but
compared to me.
what why are you, so you're asking that as one of the things that people are into, and one of the common, is that one of the
Yes.
common
One of the common things, and
Yes, definitely in LA
yeah,
for
Oh,
sure.
definitely in LA. That's
Yes.
true. That's
but
true. I think LA and New York, it seems to be, that's where I'm seeing a lot for people who meditate and
Yeah.
yoga. It's the coasts. It's there. I think it exists throughout the United States, but much more on the coasts.
but then we've had that conversation too of is yoga an exercise or is it a way of life? And I think a lot of people consider it more of an exercise.
In the Western world, they do. Yoga. I was mentioning Vivekananda, who came to the United States, and I wish I would have looked up the year, but it was, he had been in the United States in the late 1800s, but during the early 1900s World Fair is where he gave a speech, and it rocked the United States. Everyone wanted to learn yoga. And that was kind of also in that time of mysticism and the Golden Dawn. We're talking just before the 1920s and going into the 20s, where people were holding seances and people really wanted to understand mysticism and spirit guides and mediumship, as a matter of fact, which came up on a previous show. But Vivekananda came, and he was a yoga master. That's definitely, that's a yoga master who lived his life through it. But yes, there's so now to this day, it's East meets West. It's that yoga itself actually is a tradition that isn't just about exercise. It always has been about being able to go within, find your center, know thyself, understand yourself, connect to the supreme. Depending on the yoga you're doing, it may be about connecting to deity or to the supreme source, and living your life in a way that's very holistic. With that, the older yogas we think about, like tantric yoga, kundalini yoga, raja yoga, have exercises with them, but that's not the goal. It achieves health and balance and stretching your muscles and healing, difficulties, wounds, problems in the back or neck or shoulders or knees or whatever. But the Western world sees it more as that, an exercise. But the ancient yogas that I was talking about, tantric and kundalini and so forth, by the way, they're not about sex first and foremost. They're actually about the mantras that you use. That there's a sacred sound. There's pranayama, which is the breath work, which balances you and opens up the nadi centers or meridian centers. There are the asanas, which are the physical work, but when you do a set of some kind, when you do a yoga set, it's bringing you to center and helping you focus, and you're kind of working, the mental chatter we talked about in meditation. When you do yoga, a yoga set, you're quieting that mind through all of the things that I just mentioned,
the movement,
through the breath work, through the movement, and you're also stretching your body so your body isn't in the way of your mind, because sometimes it was my experience. I'm not easily flexible, so it was my experience starting out years ago with trying to sit there for a 15-minute meditation and feeling my foot fall asleep or a leg tense up or my back and going, I can't do this anymore. But as time went on, I am here to tell you, you can heal from almost anything you have had go on in your body.
And emotion.
And your emotions, because the pranayama and the mantras and actually the physical, the asanas, help you connect with who you are, how you feel, how you cope. If you're coping with pain, if you don't like something about yourself, that comes up during your yoga set and so forth. It does, very much so. And then what it allows you to do ultimately is to sit in meditation and sit with yourself and be at peace. And then you rise into, I always enjoy talking about that consciousness, whether it's your higher self or connection with higher guidance, but you're sitting well in your body and you're sitting well with yourself and you're just at peace. And when you can find that, you can make your way through anything in life. So there's basically the philosophy that comes from yoga. And it's not, but do you have to do it absolutely every day? Do you have to live that lifestyle? People in yoga would say, yes, it becomes a lifestyle, I think. But if you take it more casually, that's good too. Whatever you do, I think, for yourself, be good. But anyway, your perspective on a practice,
I mean,
or what you found.
Yeah, for me, it's sort of I sort of have an on again, off again relationship with yoga and with meditation. I guess I started in my mid-20s. I when I moved out to LA, I started going to Agape out here. So that they have a meditation before their Wednesday night service. So that was kind of my intro. I mean, I obviously was aware of meditation, but that was my first time actually doing it for an extended period of time, and loved that. And my girlfriend at the time was doing a lot of yoga as well. So yeah, I mean, that sort of was my introduction to it. And I, as I said, I sort of come and go with it just based on traveling and work. And I find it's usually, my financial situation, because taking classes somewhere can be, quite expensive depending on where you go. So, if I don't have that extra money to spend, then I'll kind of, take a few months off or, and then come back to it. But I guess I'm always doing stuff at home, just in terms of like a morning stretching routine.
Yes.
So yeah, and meditation, I did it, I was committed to it for about 6 months last year. And, again, I absolutely see the benefit when I do it on a regular basis. So again, it's making it a part of my day every day. That is still my work that I need to do.
But have you found it's extensive? Even if you don't meditate for a while, do you still find the benefits are there?
Yes, definitely. Yes. Definitely. Even in the little things I just noticed recently, because I meditated the past few days, and just my mood in the car, because I can go, the road rage is just right under the surface, Living in LA, I'm sure many people relate to that. But I know when I meditate, like I'm so chill in the car.
Yes.
Like I'm not driving as fast, and I'm just kind of like, it's okay if everybody's passing me. I'm good. I'm gonna get where I'm going. Oh, they needed to cut me off there. They had to get in. So little things like that. I do see the instant benefit to that. So yeah.
Oh,
that's good to know.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm definitely not beyond road rage. That can happen, but you're right. When I'm really on with it, I also even feel it helps your response.
Yes.
Your physical response. If someone cuts you off,
yes.
It was interesting to me years ago when I quit jumping when I heard a sound. I was one of those people, and something would go boom. Something goes boom now, and I'm like, okay, I want to know what that is, but I'm not going, and worried about it. But so that is true in the car, and even if I think, hey, you're cutting me off over there, I can stop immediately and just go, okay, well, deal with it. I'm not. I'm actually amazed now at the people that feel they need to catch up with you and let you know personally that you have upset them.
So much energy.
So much energy. Yeah.
Wasted.
Yeah, wasted. That's true.
So I was thinking, since this is our first in-studio guest,
Yes.
if you would like to draw.
I would love to.
Oh, yes.
Do I need to do anything with the deck?
And this is Kuan Yin, by the way.
No, you don't. I'm
Hello,
actually
Kuan
going
Yin.
to give one more shuffle to it, and I will cut the cards, and then just lift, and think that whatever card you lift, and then whatever card is laying on top is your card.
Okay.
All right. Wonderful. Oh, are you ready for more cards? Is that what you're leaving the deck open? Okay.
Oh, just one. Okay.
8 of Pentacles. Considering what you do for a living, that probably makes a lot of sense. So this is someone who's working on their craft, and it's very deeply meaningful to them. It's showing so many, they're getting better and better at what they do. But the 8 also stands for, I should have held that up. Thank you very much. Okay, so the 8 stands for completion, or you're prepared to finish a project. Pay attention to the details, I would say. Are you toward the end of a project that you've been working on? I did not know that. I do have a sense of that. It feels like you're definitely being kind of flagged to pay attention to the final, the details. I feel like you've got a list of details that you need to correct or apply to some work that you're doing, and that your life is about being the artist right now. It's funny, I feel like it's something about you is being drawn into this card. Give yourself time. Boy, talk about yoga. I feel to say from this card, it's about giving yourself time to be the artist that you are, and be in that lifestyle, and do whatever stimulates your craft, and then go back and do the work of your craft. So taking time to be who you want to be, whether it could be reading a book or taking classes or going to other films, but being it's embodying, there we go, it's embodying your craft, and that's what's going to propel you right now to where you want to go with this project.
That's so cool. So right on.
Good.
Because I literally just finished a script that I've been working on for a little bit, and so now these past week and a half, anytime I finish a project, I tend to just go out into the world, and I read a lot more. I go to see a lot of movies. I listen to a lot of music, and it's kind of my time to
be with it.
Yeah, so that's where I've been. That's so.
So
you
it's
nailed it.
She's good like that. She really is.
So you drew the card. Yeah, I have a tendency to think all of the cards have light and shadow aspects to them, but I could feel this for you. You're not going against your nature. You are going with the flow of what you need to do, is what it's saying. And to give I don't know why, I only have one thing that says for some reason, in some ways you feel like you shouldn't have the permission to just do what you need to do. Just keep rising, keep going into who you are as an artist, as well as the project itself.
That's great. I love that.
Excellent. Good.
So,
is there anything else you wanted to ask him about his work, or?
Well, I know Noel has a lot of projects coming up, including Secret Office that's going to go on Amazon soon. Yes.
Yep. It's on Amazon right now.
Yes, that's right. Yes. And
so I have 2 things to watch then.
yes, that was our web series on the Secret Service.
Yes, it's a political comedy, short form series. Yeah.
Oh.
So there's 5 episodes. They're 6 minutes long each.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the Secret Service dealing with the current administration.
Which
we're not going to make a comment on
there's
how we feel about
there's
it.
really no need.
I was a little worried because Noel wrote that before the elections were over, and it was just a what if. This is funny, and I was like, oh, this is hilarious. It's never going to happen. Okay.
I would say you're intuitive as well. Then.
And then every time he wrote something, it happened.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
I know. I can just foresee political horror.
Oh dear. No.
I don't know if that's a gift or not.
And so everyone, we invite you to meditate more, do more yoga.
Okay, so
I just want to say, I do think if Donald Trump is listening, I think if he went to a yoga or a meditation class, it could do wonders.
It
would be
could do
nice.
wonders.
I think
Maybe
it
not,
would.
but
Yeah.
we could see some benefits.
We
As long
could.
as he
We-
didn't
we all
call it the fake yoga.
So,
But it could.
Mr. Orput, do you have anything else you want to add? But it's going. You have a lot going on. But where can people reach you?
You can find me at my website, which is noeldouglasorput.com. And my email is on there, and all the updates on what's going on. So yeah, come check it out.
Yay.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
And then now, one of the things that you said you liked about our show is our meditations.
Yes.
Or Ananda's meditations. So she has one special for love.
For love, yes. I like the way you say that. Love. So this isn't a meditation on dating particularly. This is actually about loving yourself or giving space for yourself, because anyone else you're going to love, it's first going to start with you and your ability to open to that love. So if you are not driving, you can close your eyes and you can sit and relax. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Remember that meditation is a time for yourself, a space to have love and intimacy within yourself. Just be in this present moment and continue. Take another deep breath in and breathe out again and relax. Breathe normally. The word love is one of the sweetest words in our language. Say it to yourself quietly just a few times. Love. 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 Listen to the resonance of it. Think about what it means to you. Where do you feel it in your body when you say love? Remember a specific time when you felt love, both being loved and loving someone, or just feeling it within yourself. Were you walking in nature, at the beach, on a hike? Were you listening to music? Were you being held by someone you loved? Or were you with a pet or a gathering of friends? You might have had the feeling all is right with the world. And as you sense this state of love, let the feeling flood into any dark or stagnating places within your mind, your being, your memories. Love will be like a light that shines for you through those difficult times. Let love within you take care of everything you feel ashamed of, anything you feel guilty about. Let it wash away all of your fear, your anger, any resentment. Just soak it up. Feel it permeating through and through. You can feel it resonating from your heart and your belly into every secret place. You are both the lover and the beloved. Tune into your heart and radiate love out from where you are to the world around you. Doing this takes no love away from you, but allows it to flow more fully back to you. This is the power of love. And anytime you have the time, simply be with your own ability to love and sense all that it brings to you. Every moment of love you've ever experienced still exists in your being, resonating now like a vibration in your cells. This is more than an image, more than a memory. Love actually is a living state of mind and being that grows stronger with your consciousness. Blessings to you who are love. And that's everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we go, Miss Inanna, you have a couple of workshops coming up and a big one in July.
Actually, yes. As always, you can look on my website, inannamoon.com. But on February 16th, I have a workshop with my friend Francine Ong. We're doing an evening of channeling messages from higher guidance. That's from 7 to 9 p.m. and it's at Golden Soul. And again, you can either look on Golden Soul, GOLDENSOL.org. And please, please look on. You can look on Golden Soul's website as well. That's GOLDENSOL.org. And yes, I have an event coming up in Lilydale, which we'll also talk a little more on at another time. But Lilydale is the oldest community and also has classes on mediumship, and it's in upstate New York. I'm teaching a class on the chakras and intuitive development on July 3rd of this year.
I'm very excited. I might have to go.
Cool.
To that.
Good, very good. But we'll talk about it a little more later on.
Yay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can find me at laughinghouseproductions.com and artistriseup.la.com. And I want to thank David Shostak again for letting us use his music at the beginning and at the end. And I want to thank you for joining us in Cruising in Light and Shadow.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is Inanna Moon.
Yes.
And I'm Sheila Keecha Marie. And I just want to remind everybody that love is everywhere, especially for this show. Our lives touch everyone and everything. So please go forth in love.